Hello, and welcome to a Microsoft Outlook overview video. This video's topic is calendaring. If you need more information about basic navigation or the mail features of Outlook, please check out our Outlook mail overview video. Currently, my calendar is set to a month view. At the top of my calendar, you can see a weather widget. It may default to New York, New York, but you can simply change locations by clicking the drop-down menu and adding a location, or removing one by clicking the X. There is also a search bar for your calendar. On the left-hand side of the calendar, I currently have 2 months listed that I can select week by week. Below the month listings are all calendars that I have available to me. If you look at my calendar, you will notice not all of the items on it look the same. Some of them are faded, with diagonal lines on the left-hand side. This means somebody has sent me a meeting appointment that I have not yet responded to. The diagonal lines are the symbol for tentative. If you see a solid box with a solid bar next to it, these are meetings that have been accepted that are showing me as busy. A solid box with a white or clear bar on the left-hand side means the appointment has been accepted, but I've left myself as free. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can also see that there are 2 appointments that have been color-coded to signify that they are different than the rest. I'm going to continue looking at the Home tab of my ribbon and change the arrangement of my calendar. For example, I'm going to select my work week. The work week only shows the days and times that I have selected within Outlook that I am available. For example, if I scroll up, you can see that my calendar is grayed out before 8. And if I scroll down, anytime after 4:30. You can change this time frame as well as the days by clicking the small arrow in the lower right-hand corner of the Arrange area of the ribbon. This will open the calendar options. Here, you can change your start time, your end time, and your work week. You can also select which day of the week you'd like your calendar to start on for the week view. Next up, we're going to look at appointments and meetings. Appointments are items that are placed in the calendar for yourself. You cannot send an appointment to someone else. A meeting is an item that will be placed in the calendar that you can invite others to. If you have an item that you start as an appointment, don't worry. If you want to add people, you can change it to a meeting. I will show you how to do that in a little bit. There are several ways that you can start appointments or meetings. For appointments, you can click and drag and select a time on your calendar and just enter information, and then press enter, and it will appear on your calendar. Or you can select a time frame, go up to new appointment on the ribbon. It will then use what you have selected as the default for the start time and end time of your appointment. You can then simply just fill in a subject and a location and any information in the body. Once you've finished entering the information, click Save and Close. Much like appointments, there are several different ways to invite people to a meeting. 1. You can open an appointment and select Invite Attendees to turn it into a meeting. Or you can select a time frame on your calendar and click New Meeting on the ribbon, and it will open up a meeting for the time frame you have selected. Or if you have not selected a time on your calendar, simply just click New Meeting and enter a time. I am currently setting up a meeting from 9 to 10 a.m. for Friday of this week. Now I just need to invite people to the appointment. I can do this by typing their name in and selecting them from a list, clicking Check Names, or I can click the to icon. I can add people to the required line, an optional line, or the resources line of my appointment. I'm going to add trainer number 2 as optional, and I'm going to add a room as a resource. Then I will select OK. Notice, because I selected a room as my resource, the location has already filled in. Now I can add a subject. In the body of the message, you can enter any extra information that you need. On the right hand side of my screen, you can see an area called Room Finder. This has appeared because I have selected it as turned on in the Options area of the ribbon. Here, I can see that my room has been listed in the Rooms area. Also, further down, I can see there are some suggested times. The Suggested Times area only suggests times for the length of the meeting, in this case 1 hour, on the date selected. It will show all available times at the top, and if anybody has a conflict, you will be able to scroll down and see who has the conflict at what time at the bottom. Here we can see that trainer number 6 has a conflict from 8:30 to 9:30 and 9 to 10. Scrolling back up, I can also see that those time slots are not available on my suggested times list. To get even more detailed information about times that people are available, select the Schedule Assistant from the ribbon. Here, you get a list view of everybody's calendar. You can also see who the organizer is based on their icon, as well as see who is required with the red upward arrow icon, who is optional with the eye icon, and lastly, any resources which have a picture of a house. At this time, if I do not need to add any more information, I can send the meeting from here. If I need to add extra information to the body of the message, I can click Appointment and go back to the editing screen. There is one more area that we should look at before sending this meeting, and that is the response options in the Attendees section of the ribbon. Here, I can choose to request responses or allow new time proposals. I would suggest always leaving request responses checked. Along with request responses, we can also check to see if allow new time proposals is turned on. If it is turned on, an icon will show up for all recipients of the meeting invitation, allowing them to propose new times. If it is left unchecked, they will not be able to propose new times outside of sending a separate message or replying to the meeting. Now, I'm going to send my meeting invite. Once it is sent, I am taken back to my calendar screen. Once the meeting invite has been sent, I can check my mail to see if I've got any messages for people accepting the meeting. Currently, in my inbox, I now have messages that Trainer 6 and the resource room have accepted my meeting. I can also go back to my calendar and see at the bottom who has been invited, who is accepted, and who has not responded. Also, I can use the tracking information in the ribbon to see the list of attendees. Back on the appointment itself, if I need to make an update, I can do so from here and then click Send an Update to send an update. Or, if I need to cancel the meeting, I can select Cancel Meeting. When I click Cancel Meeting, I'm still allowed to make an update before sending. Once I've made my notes, I can send the cancellation. Now that we have learned how to create new appointments and new meetings, we're going to take a look at how to accept one. I have currently received a meeting for Wednesday, December 3rd from 8 to 9:30. Because I have not accepted it, we can see here on my calendar that it is faded and set to tentative. I have a couple options for accepting this. One, I could go to my mailbox and accept it from the meeting request. I can accept at the top of the message, I can right-click and accept, or I can double-click the message to open it. Note that along with accepting the invite, you can also mark it as tentative, decline the request, or respond to it. Within each of these responses, there are 3 options. We are going to quickly take a look at the different options for each of these categories, starting with accept. There are 3 ways I can accept the message. I can accept without sending a response. However, this will not let the person who invited me know that I am attending, nor will it show up if they look at the responses from other attendees. I can select Send Response Now, which will send a response to the person who invited me and mark me as attending on the list of people that the organizer has invited. Lastly, I can edit a response before sending. This will open up an email message so I can send any notes along with my acceptance. If I accept the meeting tentatively, I do have the same 3 options, as well as if I decline the meeting. Lastly, there's a response option where I can choose to just reply or forward information for the meeting. I'm going to accept the meeting and send a response. Back on my calendar, I can go to the first week of December and see that I've accepted the meeting. Currently, if I click on the meeting, I can look up at the top of my screen, a meeting tab opens, and I can see that it is marked as busy. Maybe I'm not sure I can make the meeting now, or I have been informed that it is not required of me to attend. I could leave the meeting on my calendar and change it to free. If anybody searches me now on my scheduling assistant, this time slot will be available to make appointments. But I could also use this time slot to go to the meeting. I could also set a reminder for the meeting. Currently, mine defaults to 15 minutes, but I could set it for up to 2 weeks in advance. The last topic area that we are going to cover is how to share and open calendars. On the Home tab, for sharing, there are 2 areas to look. 1, the Share section. 2, Manage Calendars. The Manage Calendars area in particular has an Open Calendar feature. Here, I can open any calendar from my address book and see the default information that has been shared. I'm going to open Trainer 6's calendar. Now I can see Trainer 6's calendar. Trainer 6 has allowed that anybody who opens their calendar can only see specific information. For example, if I try to open the calendar appointment, I will get an error message saying I do not have permission. The message also prompts me to request permission to view the calendar. At this point in time, I'm going to click No because we will be doing that in a few minutes. Now I'm going to close Trainer 6's calendar. There are a few other options to share my calendar. 1, I could email my calendar. This will allow me to send someone else a snapshot of a period of time on my calendar. If any appointments are added after the email is sent, they will not appear in the emailed calendar. If I want somebody to see constant up-to-date information on my calendar, I can share it to them. Simply do this by clicking the Share Calendar button. When the Share Calendar option opens, you will see a 2-line, along with a subject that's automatically filled in, some request options, a details option, and then a body where you can enter any additional information. I'm going to share my calendar with Trainer 6. I can also request permission to view the recipient's calendar. Next, I need to set what information Trainer 6 can see of my calendar. By default, it's availability only. This will look much like what we saw with Trainer 6's calendar, where I could only see whether they were busy or not. There's also an option for limited details, which would show their availability along with the subject and location information for the meeting. Or I can choose to let them see full details, which allows them to see all the details of an appointment. I can also type a message to the person I'm sharing access with and requesting access from. After clicking Send, I will receive a window just asking for confirmation before the calendar is shared. Review the information and in particular the permissions before clicking Yes. If the information is wrong, click No and change it before sending it. After clicking Yes, Microsoft Outlook will share my calendar. The person I send it to will get a message notifying them that I have shared a calendar with them. If a person has shared a calendar with you, there are 2 ways for you to be able to view it. 1 is open the calendar from your Home tab of your calendar screen. Or You can go to your mailbox and open the message notifying you that a calendar has been shared with you. In my mailbox, I have a sharing request from Trainer 6. I can open the message, and here I have notification that they have shared their calendar with me. I can click in the upper left-hand corner, open this calendar. After it is opened, you will also be able to find it in your shared calendars list on the left-hand side of the calendar page. A helpful feature in Outlook is the ability to stack calendars. You can do this by opening more than one calendar and then using the arrow next to the calendar's name to stack it on top of the one to the left of it. For example, I'm going to stack Trainer 6 onto my calendar. Now I can see both of our appointments on one calendar, and it'll allow me to better plan meetings ahead of time. If I want to unstack them, I have the option to close the calendar by clicking an X or clicking the arrow to move it off. You can stack up to 4 calendars. After adding a 5th, your view will be switched to a list view, much like the scheduling assistant. This concludes our Microsoft Outlook overview on calendaring topics. Be sure to check out the Mail video for basic navigation and mail features. Also, note the links on the screen. They contain more information about not only the move from GroupWise to Outlook, but also how to use many more of the features of Outlook that we could not fit into these videos. Thank you for watching.